architectural visualization, but we do a whole variety of things and build a whole variety of kind of cool technology stuff. But I also happen to have one of my undergrad degrees from the IB program. I have also taught a class last fall, I guess, called Model Making and Rapid Prototyping, sort of an advanced, in-depth look at how to build things. So in general, we're going to talk a bit about 3D printing, but I can't talk about 3D printing without talking about other stuff, which you guys already know. So I'm going to run through it real quick. But just sort of my way of looking at things. Different types of models. I like to think of the world in sort of sketch models, which are essentially sketches in 3D, mechanical models, which show how things work, white models, which represent form accurately, appearance models, which represent how things will actually look, including color and material, and then prototypes, which are models that actually do their intended task as well as looking correct. So let's talk about 3D printing for a moment. So what is 3D printing? This is wonderful, definition, but really the important things in this is that it uses a digital file to create a physical component. That's really sort of the big thing in 3D printing. These are 3D printers. Various different materials. You can have everything from plastics to metals. You can have different depositions or curing processes, and you can even have 3D sheets. But in this case, we all have a digital file creating a physical object. This is not a 3D printer. There is no digital file involved. These are effectively handheld extruders. So what's really cool about 3D printing is you have literally unlimited geometric freedom. You can make anything you want in it. You can make impossible shapes. The next one is impossible shapes. So you can make faucets that have water flow through them in interesting ways. You can print out stools as one piece that then unfold. So it gives you really limitless possibilities. It also gives you limitless ways you can screw up. One of the really cool applications that a lot of people like to show off with 3D printing is to print interlocking parts. So this is a really kind of nice example. This is a 3D printed nylon off the type of machine that SLS will pass. 3D printing also provides a really good surface finish. Although this does look like a real Nerf printer, this is actually a 3D printed model. Full color print, whereas that one is actually an injection molded piece of plastic. You also have no steps between the CAD, your computer, and your finished product, which is pretty cool. So you can go immediately, let's see if I have something here on the table. Yes, that's what it works. So you can go immediately from your computer model to a finished case for an electronic part without having to worry about tooling or without having to worry about manufacturing time. So when you pull it off the machine, it's immediately ready to use. Or in the case of shoes or finishes. And it also allows for changes between each part. Kevin will probably maybe talk about mass customization. I don't know, are you? Maybe. But so that you can create a generalized form, and then every version you create can be slightly different, whether that's designed with a specific style in mind or designed to fit body geometry or something of that nature. And you can also create really efficient parts. So you can actually remove material in ways that are not easy to do with traditional methods with 3D printing. And printing a variety of materials. So you can print metal, you can print full color, you can print squishy materials as well. And it's a fully automated process. Once you sort of hit print, it goes. You don't have to worry about being at the machine the entire time. Although with some machines you do, because they screw up. So disadvantages, it's not really rapid. Most of these machines take quite a while to print. It also matters your machine. For instance, so Tech Tower here, this print off my printer is about a 4 or 5 hour print. So not exactly like the most rapid method of making things. It has what's considered a long cycle time. Has to do more with like compared to say injection molding where you're spitting out like a part a second. It's not so fast. The unit cost is high. 3D printing is actually really expensive in most situations compared to, like, particularly when you start getting into high volume. The machines are very, very expensive. The ones that you think, oh, I can go get the 3D printer for $300, you're better off just lighting your $300 on fire. They're really, really terrible. You don't really start getting into decent machines until about the $3,000 range. Most of them have limited size, but there are examples where you have infinite size machines. Usually the parts require some sort of supporting structure. I have examples of that. And from an engineering standpoint, not that you guys necessarily are doing much engineering, but they're not homogeneous. So they actually aren't the same material in different directions. So you actually have to consider what direction you printed in to get the strength requirements you need. The machines that are commonly used here, I'm going to zip through this, is FDM, so fusion deposition modeling, spits out plastic. It has reasonable resolution. Let's go through all of this, unless you really want to know how they're built. The main thing to sort of be aware in the process is that you have a slicing process where your model is broken into slices. You have then sort of the loading process, it's loaded into the machine, printing process, prints. Then you have some level of post-processing. This may be dissolving a dissolvable support. This may be clipping off a printed support structure. Then you have cleanup, which might be your sand and finish. Whole bunch of materials can be printed. Food products is kind of interesting. It's becoming a big thing of printing sugar and chocolate. The advantages of using an FDM is it's really clean. You can have one on your desk. It's one of the few machines that actually is safe to have on your desk and operating as well. Problem is you'll notice the layers, and I'll pass around some examples. They have lots of parts. They're not watertight, which is really important to understand. A lot of people think of printing like cups and things, and then they fill them and they leak everywhere. Let's see, we're just going to go all of this. So printers can cause architecture. There are MakerBots floating around this building. 2X's, 5Gens. They're not bad. They have breakaway support. A lot of times they do fail. Speaking of failure, the most common failure in a 3D print is that generally your part comes off of the bed, and because you're not paying attention, the machine doesn't know this, it just keeps going, and you get spaghetti. Another common failure, like the part on the right, is where you get a support failure, where a piece falls, a support structure falls away, and then you get it with another rest. Some of the common failures that are actually fixable are warping. You see this on lower end machines all the time, and so there are some ways of fixing it. You can add a little disc to your corner that you can clip off later. A lot of it just has to do with proper bend press. We also have professional grade machines in the shop here. These machines actually print with a dissolvable support, which allows you to make sort of like the thing that was going around. Maybe not quite to that resolution, but you can print parts in parts, which is pretty cool. Some different machines. We also have a machine downstairs. It's a production level machine. This is like the hardcore of 3D printing. It's incredibly accurate. It can print polycarbonate parts, which is really cool because they're really strong. But one of the main advantages is it has a really large build size. So you're going to have a hard time elsewhere actually finding the printer that can print this as a single component. So if you find yourself working in large scale, we have the machine that can actually do it here. So how do you make a printer? The first question you should ask yourself is, have you made a model already? If the answer is no, then you should not be 3D printing anything. 3D printing is just a tool, just like a drill press or a saw. You wouldn't go to a drill press without having an idea of what you're going to drill. You should go to a 3D printer without having an idea of what you're going to print. There are a lot of other methods of modeling which should come before, and that are really, really good and really, really fast and really, really cheap. And 3D printing is not terribly quick and quite expensive. Particularly with you guys 3D printing and the entire rest of the college 3D printing, you'd average about 3 days between turning in your print and getting your model back. where you can think about how many pink foam models you can make in 3 days. So always keep that in mind. What's the geometry? Is another question to ask. A lot of times people 3D print things they don't need to 3D print. There are better ways of making it. You need just a cylinder. So for example, this part here on the back is a 3D printed support structure. This is a PVC pipe. I did not 3D print a long tube because I know I can find one that's a PVC pipe. Much cheaper, much faster, easier. Can you make it another way? Is always a good question to ask yourself. Is it flat? Is it straight-sided? Maybe you're better off laser cutting it than you are 3D printing it. Also, the question is sort of what do you want to know? What is it for? If you have yourself a SolidWorks model and you're wondering, well, did I make it the right size? Like, is it roughly the right shape? There's software out there that can process a SolidWorks model into a laser cuttable format like this, which is much cheaper, really, really fast, and tells you everything you need to know about scale and rough geometry before actually spending the time to get it 3D printed. How will the part be used? So is it a structural component? Is it an aesthetic component? Is it going to get painted? All the things you need to consider. How big is the part? So if it's really huge and you're printing it, you may need to be a bigger printer. If it's really small and really detailed, you may want to be on an entirely different printer. There's one type of printer I have on here, or I don't have on here that we do have. I'll show you examples from, which is called a Formlabs printer. It prints from a liquid resin, very, very high resolution. So talking a bit about print direction. Print direction matters in terms of mainly strength, but also appearance. One of the things you run into in a weird way is how big things can be printed in certain directions. So that definitely comes into an issue. Print direction also comes into cost. So if you look at the top image there, so it's a road cone. The one on the left is printed on its side, it has to have support, so that's essentially money you're throwing away. Where printing vertically has no support, saves you lots of money, and usually it saves time as well. You also have infill, so what the interior structure of the print is like. Some prints you may want completely solid, other ones you want to fill as little as possible to save you time and money again. Usually printers are slow in the z-axis, the vertical. So when considering time, the taller your print is, the longer we take to print. Resolution. One of the interesting things with the printers is you usually have a direction. So sort of as you build in the Z, you have better curves rather than in the sort of the X, Y, you end up with topographies. So I'm going to pass it around. Let's see. I'm going to pass this one around. So you can look at those two parts. The white one was printed vertically, so its curves are nicely shaped. The red one was printed sort of flat, so you can actually see the topography on the top. And really critically, print direction determines strength. So this part, which under normal circumstances, I would have printed flat because it would be cheaper and faster. Or I would have printed vertical because it would look better to get that curve to look nicer. But in this case, it was actually printed flat because I needed the strength. Prints will always break along the layers. So if your layers are stacked this way, as it says, so it's strong in the X and the Y, but when pulled in the Z direction, they'll break. So that's something to always keep in mind. Also, wall thickness matters. Most of the processing software has settings that you can adjust this. The more walls, the stronger the part, but the more material you use. Support structures. Some machines, this is off a machine like what we have downstairs here, have a support structure that's dissolvable, so like the bottom of this egg here. This material basically disappears entirely and allows you for really complicated geometries. What's great about it is you print it, you toss it in the bath, you walk away, you come back a couple hours later, and boom, there's your print, all good to go. Wonderful. On the other hand, Most sort of hobby style printers will print with a breakaway support, so you have to come in and clip it. The surface where that support is contacting looks crappy. If you look at the top of that white part or the bottom of the red one that's going around, those have support structure sort of left on them. You then also have printers like the SLA machines, which build this sort of clip-away support structure, which particularly in the clear material is brittle and can snap and destroy your print and all sorts of terrible things. So dissolvable supports are really wonderful. There are also a whole bunch of ways of attaching parts together. Some prints, which I will pass around. Sometimes you can embed pieces in them. So this part, for instance, has moldable inserts embedded in it. So you print the part, you heat up these little metal pieces and push them in. They have threads on them, makes it really, really handy. Your other option, like the white part going around, actually just uses a press fit. It's surprisingly easy, particularly with FDM prints, to get really good locking and press fits, because you can actually get the layers interlocked with each other. Basically zero tolerance, which is absurd in the rest of the world of making things. In 3D printing, two zero tolerance parts will essentially slide into each other. So, what do you print? And Kevin will talk a little bit about this as well, I would imagine. Awesome.
You like file type? Or
yeah, file type. So this is an STL. STL stands for stereolithography file. Stereolithography is the first type of 3D printing, and so they just sort of named the file after it. This file type has been around for a really, really long time. It's comprised of triangles. In SolidWorks, you will actually, if you go to your STL preferences, you can actually adjust the chord tolerance and the angular control. This is essentially if you had a curve, how long your lengths of lines that make up that curve are, and then how it's like the smallest angle it can be. These are like, you guys have worked with Photoshop and Illustrator, right? Just checking. Good. Awesome. So SolidWorks file is like an Illustrator vector. It's essentially infinitely scalable. And the way the data is stored is no matter if you're, so you make a cube and it's 100 inches or it's 1 inch, doesn't matter, the file size is the same. With a STL file, it's more like Photoshop. These are raster, if you want to think about them that way. The bigger the file, the bigger the geometry, more triangles, more complicated geometry, the more triangles you're going to have. They don't carry any color or texture. You're familiar with the 3D modeling world. But the file size is dictated by the geometry. So you can see figure 1. Figure 1 is the geometry. Figure 2 is how it gets broken into triangles. Figure 3 is what a complex part looks, made of a ton of triangles. So when you're printing, they do have a set resolution. So what you're really shooting for is something around 3 there. 4 probably has more triangles than you need. So when you bring it into the processing software, it's going to slow down everything. And your printer probably can't print that resolution. But figure 2, if you print that, you're going to end up with sort of a low poly style, which may be what you're after, but maybe not what you're going for. So in terms of like information, that's sort of that. In terms of the table of let me pass this around. So there are a whole, as I was saying, there are a bunch of different types of printers in the college. I'm going to pass this part around, but try not to break it, please. So this isn't mine.
if I try, he means don't.
Yes. Neither is this one, so just don't break these. That one's brittle. But those are off the Form 2 machines downstairs. What's cool is the Form 2 can print clear. You can polish that part and make it really, really beautiful and awesome. What's also really cool to print is metal. And you guys are doing the printing?
Yeah, they are using the Shapeways.
Awesome, cool.
Yeah.
So Shapeways is really great. It's really expanded like the ability to 3D print to anyone. So I'm actually going to pass around a couple of things. So this ring was printed, I guess, off of Shapeways in metal. This is a process called DMLS. So direct metal laser sintering, big box of metal powder, laser comes in and melts it all together.
No?
Yes.
How much is that ring? What material is that?
I have no idea. I grabbed it out of the case downstairs.
All right.
I'm also going to pass this one around. So this is a little sample of lots of different materials that Shapeways. And so 3D printing within the project architecture is really, really cheap. Like really cheap. It's about $4 a cubic inch, I think is what it roughly comes out to.
We're paying the printer.
What?
4, so close to 5 to 6.
But so still not too bad. Shapeways is actually really competitive compared to a lot of places. I printed parts professionally that were smaller, about this big actually. It came to about $90. So in the real world, it's not so much. So let's see if I can.
Project.
That's my email. This is where I forget my password. A moment where I see if I can find myself.
Yeah. Okay, so I'll fill you out on everything Justin wants us to do, any homework. So seriously, around 5:30. How long do you think we'll be there? Okay, so then after that, tech break? Break time?
Probably gonna go. I'll just start.
Are you sure? Okay.
So this was a chess set I did a while back. Just to give you a sense.
And then
So it's about
we'll probably go around
$264 for
7:45,
half of a
7:50.
chess set.
Then you want to get dinner and do
pretty
Pilates
pricey.
and then open homework?
In my, I was going to see if I could actually find the cost of just one of these. I can't remember my log.
Sure.
But yeah, so Shapeways provide a whole variety of materials. They also have sort of some nice analysis stuff when you upload your file to tell you like, what will work and what will not, which is pretty nice. Do you guys have any questions at this point? Or if I was like throwing everything out? Yes?
Is it like the structure things in automatically or do you need to?
So most software, if your slicing software is any good, it'll put in all the support structure by itself. Depending on what printer you're on and what sort of you're trying to do, you have some level of option. The professional grade machines will not let you print something that won't come out effectively. It will always add support. On your desktop machines, you can tell it to don't add support or do. So you can actually say, like, print this thing in midair with no support, and the machine will do it. Quite happily make it quite a large mess. So a good way of sort of thinking about how support works is that the majority of FDA machines can print a 45-degree angle in space. They'll print it flat in air, no problem. As soon as you go to 45.1 degrees, it now needs support underneath that structure. So any sort of overhang is going to need support. Anything that basically you can draw a line from a point on your model down through airspace to another point, either on the ground or within the model itself, you're going to need some support. You can get away with certain things. I did bring one that's open. So these cubes are from a project that I've been working on. they attach themselves together no matter what orientation. Yeah, kind of nifty. But in order to dramatically reduce cost and weight on the actual interior side panels, they're hollow, and they have a 45-degree chamfer frame, so it actually. There we go. So you can actually see sort of how it's thicker on the corners. So by sort of cheating with the 45 degrees knowledge, you can actually get sort of lighter weight structures without actually having to add support material.
Is there like a specific software that you recommend, or like communities doing it on? For experience.
So SolidWorks is a great 3D modeler for 3D printing because SolidWorks is a solid modeling software. When you export your file, it always comes out essentially correct. There aren't any weird errors. So what you'll do is you'll export an STL from SolidWorks and then bring it into whatever slicing or processing software is appropriate for the printer you're printing it on. So depending, the professional machines have their own software. MakerBot has its own brand of software. If you find that you're really into this, and you're really curious about exploring it, I would recommend Cura. Is a sort of open source kind of 3D print software. It allows you to tweak every possible setting imaginable. So it lets you get really, really into trouble really fast. But it's quite interesting to see all the variables you have. Yeah.
So if you're mobile parts, export it as
So you actually have a couple options. So if you have built an assembly in SolidWorks, there is a button that you can click, basically a checkbox, which either export it out as an assembly, so every part together, or separate. So that's sort of a decision you have to make. You can also print multiple parts simultaneously on a printer, so if you have like 6 different files, you can just load them together. The issue you run into is if you're printing parts that are interlocked together, what is their intended use? So if you're hoping to print hinges that are already built together, that's great if you have dissolvable support material. If you don't have dissolvable, you may end up just with parts fused. So really, actually, a good example of this. So this part, these are both it's a cell phone design. This one is fused because tolerancing is not good. Whereas this one was actually printed slightly separately. I think the bottom one was actually printed inside. And so this one actually allows it to slide, but this is a 0.5 millimeter of difference between success and a break. Yes. So when you actually so when you import your file into a slicing software, you can always view it as slices. So this is out of Cura. So this is the actual part geometry. This is what's called a layer view. So what you're seeing in the layer view is you're seeing the exterior in red, the interior shell in green, support structure in yellow. Tool paths are in blue, so where the head is actually going blue. So you can actually view these things by layer. And it does take some training and it does take some experience to actually go step through a file and realize where something's going to be an error. Usually a good way of doing it, particularly if you're trying to do interlocking parts on a machine with dissolvable support, is you can step through and you can see, is there support between my 2 parts, or is it just layer against layer? And in that case, you're stuck together. Some other cool things you can do with 3D prints. is mixing them with other things. Makes it really, really powerful. So in this case, I'll pass around the egg. The egg, the bottom of the egg is a 3D print. The top of the egg is a vacuum formed part. So it's vacuum formed styrene over a 3D print. So you can actually 3D print molds to cast parts into. You can 3D print forms to vacuum form parts over. So you aren't always stuck with just the plastic you're printing in. The original purpose of this method is actually to get clear parts, but I lost the clear tops in the egg. But they fit reasonably well. It's pretty dimensionally accurate. You have quite a variety of ability. But don't, I really, really caution you though, don't jump immediately to 3D printing as the way to make something or the way to communicate something. This is sort of a really good example. So this is a mechanical model for a locking mechanism. Box, open, pretty simple. This is maybe, would have taken 8 hours to 3D print on my printer, but laser cutting it took maybe 8 minutes, and it's incredibly strong. I've never had a concern about this thing breaking. And it's really communicative. It allows me to make parts out of here. It shows exactly what it does very easily. So don't jump to 3D printing as like sort of the be-all, end-all. And if you ever go to 3D print something and are asked what size is this, how big is this, and you can't tell, you can't say, oh, it's this big, and it looks exactly like this, but 3D printed, then you shouldn't be 3D printing at all. Right. But it is possible to go from idea in foam to final 3D print quite successfully, and actually end up like your thing looking like your model, particularly if you can learn the software and not let the software drive your design, which you drive the software, which Kevin does. Any other questions? Where let Kevin do this thing? Yeah. What was the one that